Most perennials bloom for 3 weeks and spend the rest of the season looking like something you forgot to water. You spend good money, you dig the holes, you plant them right, and by the 4th of July your yard is half green and half gone. That is not a garden. That is a revolving door of disappointment. These 25 perennials do something different. They bloom from late spring and they keep going, straight through August, September, and right up until hard frost shuts everything down. Some of them you already know. Several of them your neighbors have never planted, your local nursery may not carry, and most gardening websites will never mention. Number 14 on this list blooms for 6 full months and looks better in October than it does in June. Subscribe to this channel right now before you should spend another dollar at the nursery. Every day this channel gives you the exact information that makes your garden perform better, for less money and less effort. Number 1 is catmint. Plant it once and it earns its place every single season without being asked twice. The lavender blue flowers start in late May, and if you cut the plant back by 1/3 after that first big June flush, it comes back fuller and more loaded with color than it was before, running strong through October. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, it works along pathways, at the front of a border, draped over a slope. Bees find it immediately and stay all season. Few perennials give you more color for less attention across more months than a well-placed catmint planting. Number 2 is Salvia nemorosa, commonly called woodland sage. This is the plant that fills the dead zone of midsummer when everything spring has finished and nothing fall has started. Deep violet, cobalt blue, rich burgundy red. Colors that hold their intensity through full summer heat when every pastel in your border has already washed out. Hardy in zones 4 through 9, it blooms from late spring through fall with consistent deadheading. Cut, spend spikes back to the next set of leaves and new stems emerge within 2 weeks. Neglect that one task and the bloom slows considerably. Plant it in front of ornamental grasses or alongside golden black-eyed Susans, and the contrast stops people cold. Number 3 is Coreopsis, called tickseed. This is one of the longest natural bloom windows in American perennial gardening, running from late May through October in most U.S. climates. The new varieties, Zagreb, Moonbeam, and the Uptick series, have solved the flopping and the short-lived performance that frustrated gardeners with older types. Golden yellow, soft cream, rich terracotta, full sun, well-drained soil, zones 4 through 9. Deadhead consistently, and this plant is almost never out of flower from Memorial Day to the first killing frost. Native bees and small pollinators work the flowers constantly through the entire season. Number 4 is Echinacea, and the version available to American gardeners today is not what your grandmother planted. Plant breeders have completely transformed this species over the past decade. Salmon, deep red, golden yellow, creamy white, and bicolors that look like they belong on a painter's canvas. Varieties like Sunseeker's Salmon and Cheyenne Spirit perform reliably in zones 3 through 9, coast-to-coast adaptability that almost nothing else matches. Bloom window runs from early summer clear through fall. Leave the seed heads standing through winter. Goldfinches and chickadees depend on them when the ground is frozen solid and every other food source is gone. Number 5 is Black-Eyed Susan. The new disease-resistant varieties have finally solved the leaf spot problem that made older types look ragged by midsummer. American Gold Rush and Little Gold Star stay clean all season and push out rich golden yellow flowers with deep chocolate centers from late June through the first hard frost. That is one of the longest bloom windows of any perennial available to gardeners in this country. Mass it along a fence line, let it naturalize in a meadow area, plant it in the middle of a border. It handles every one of those situations without complaint across zones 3 through 9. When monarch butterflies begin moving south toward Mexico in September, they stop at Rudbeckia specifically. Number 6 is Hemerocalis, the daylily, and the key is choosing the right variety. Stella de Oro has been the gold standard for repeat blooming daylilies for decades, and it earns that reputation. Bloom windows run from June through September with consistent deadheading, and the plant is nearly bulletproof in zones 3 through 9. The newer Endless Summer and Happy Returns varieties push that bloom window even longer. Full sun to part shade, average soil, minimal water once established. Few perennials are this reliable for this long across this many growing conditions. Number 7 is Agastache, called hyssop. Plant it on a Saturday morning, and something with wings will find it by Sunday afternoon. That is not an exaggeration. Hummingbirds locate agastache faster than almost any other plant you can put in the ground, and the new Summerlong series brings colors to this plant that did not exist 5 years ago. Vivid coral, deep magenta, soft peach, gentle lilac, blooming from midsummer through hard frost. Hardy in zones 5 through 10 depending on variety. The one non-negotiable requirement is sharp drainage. Planted in heavy clay that holds moisture through winter and it rots at the crown even inside its hardiness zone. Get the drainage right and this plant rewards you with months of extraordinary color. Number 8 is penstemon, and hummingbirds have known about this plant for centuries. American gardeners are only now catching up. Penstemon is native to North America. It evolved here, and there are species adapted to nearly every U.S. region from dry Rocky Mountain slopes to humid southeastern gardens to cold northern borders in zones 3 and 4. The tubular flowers come in scarlet, purple, deep pink, and soft lavender. Plant 3 or more together in a sunny, well-drained spot, and ruby-throated hummingbirds in the east and broad-tailed hummingbirds in the west will find them before you finish watering. Do not prune penstemon until late spring. Those old stems protect the crown through the cold months, and cutting them back in fall is the single most common reason this plant fails to return. Number 9 is scabiosa, the pincushion flower. It looks so refined sitting in the border that most people assume it must be difficult. It is not. Fiasa blooms from June through late August, with consistent deadheading pushing some varieties into October, producing soft lavender blue, clean white, and deep burgundy red flowers that carry the feeling of a wildflower meadow even in the most structured formal border. Hardy in zones 3 through 7, one mature established plant can produce over 2,000 seeds in a single season. Deadhead consistently to manage the spread or let it go and allow it to naturalize across an area with a wildflower quality that looks entirely intentional. Painted lady and swallowtail butterflies are particularly drawn to it at peak summer bloom. Number 10 is Veronica spicata, spiked speedwell. Deep violet, rich pink, and clean white flower spikes that shoot upward from late spring through midsummer, and with consistent deadheading. Many varieties continue producing into September. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, full sun, average soil, reliable performance across most of the country without pampering or special treatment. Planted in the middle of a border, where those upright spikes contrast effectively against the mounding, spreading plants around them. Native bees work the flowers constantly from the moment they open. If you are getting real value from this list, share this video with one gardening friend right now. They need this information just as much as you do, and finding it on their own could take them years. Like this video if you want more content exactly like this one. It helps this channel reach the gardeners who need it most. Number 11 is Rudbeckia fulgida, goldsturm. Where black-eyed Susan gives you a naturalistic wildflower feel, goldsturm gives you a disciplined architectural mass of gold that holds its structure all season. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, blooming from July through October, self-cleaning without deadheading. Planted in masses of 5 or more for maximum impact. The combination of goldsturm Rudbeckia with purple coneflower is one of the most copied and most reliably beautiful planting schemes in American perennial gardening for a direct reason. It works. Number 12 is Geranium roseanne, the hardy geranium. Not the red annual in the window box that gets thrown out every October. Roseanne is a tough spreading perennial that produces vivid blue-violet flowers longer than any other hardy geranium variety on the U.S. market, running from April through September with a light trim after the first big flush in early summer. Zones 4 through 8, full sun to partial shade, spreads into a soft ground-covering mound under roses, along shaded borders, filling gaps that nothing else closes as gracefully. Number 13 is Giardia, called blanket flower, and this is the perennial that blooms hardest in the exact conditions that slow every other plant down. Full blazing sun, dry rocky soil, temperatures that would stress most garden plants into dormancy. Giardia looks at all of that and blooms harder. Deep red, golden orange, rich terracotta, bicolor wheels of color from late May through October in zones 3 through 8. Excellent drainage is the one requirement. Give it that and it delivers more color per square inch of difficult space than almost anything else on this list. Number 14 is Crocosmia. When it hits full bloom in July and August, the arching stems loaded with fiery orange-red flowers look like living flames moving through the border. There is genuinely nothing else in the summer garden that produces that specific quality of heat and drama. Hardy in zones 5 through 9, and in zones 5 and 6 a heavy mulch layer in November gives the corms exactly what they need to survive northern winters and come back strong every spring. Hummingbirds are drawn irresistibly to those tubular orange flowers from July onward. Plant this near a window you look out of regularly, and you will have a front row seat to daily hummingbird visits through the heart of summer. Number 15 is Nepeta Walker's Low, a larger and more robust relative of common catmint. Same lavender blue flower color, same soft fragrance, same extraordinary season length from late May through October, but growing substantially larger and more architecturally impressive than standard catmint varieties. Hardy in zones 4 through 8. Cut it back by 1/3 in midsummer after the first flush, and it comes back with a second performance that rivals the first. Deer-resistant, drought-tolerant, once established, irresistible to bees from the moment it opens. Number 16 is Liatris Blazing Star. The flower spikes open from the top downward, which is biologically unusual and visually striking. Deep violet purple from July through September, rising 2 to 3 feet above the foliage in an upright column that adds genuine vertical structure to any planting. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. Monarch butterflies specifically seek out Liatris during the fall migration south toward Mexico. A planting of Liatris in late August is one of the most ecologically active spots in any American yard. Number 17 is Baptisia False Indigo. Deep violet blue flower spikes rise dramatically above silvery blue-green foliage in mid-spring, and after the flowers finish, decorative seed pods develop that rattle in the wind and add structure through October. Hardy in zones 3 through 9 with drought tolerance once established that is frankly extraordinary. Baptisia develops a deep searching taproot that anchors it against drought conditions that kill everything planted around it. That same taproot means you must plant it exactly where you want it permanently. Transplanting after the second year in the ground is nearly impossible without losing the plant entirely. Choose your spot, plant it there, and leave it alone. It will reward that patience by growing into a larger, more beautiful, more structurally impressive clump every year for decades. Number 18 is Leucanthemum, the Shasta Daisy. Classic clean white petals surrounding golden yellow centers, blooming from June through September with consistent deadheading and some varieties pushing into October. The new compact varieties like Becky and Banana Cream are significantly more weather-resistant and longer blooming than older types. Hardy in zones 4 through 9 full sun average soil. A border anchor that never looks out of place and never fails to deliver through the full season. Number 19 is Helenium, called sneezeweed despite having nothing to do with allergies. Rich gold, copper, deep mahogany red, and bicolor combinations that bloom from July through September in zones 3 through 8. This is the plant that owns the late summer gap when early bloomers are finished and the garden can start to look tired. Deadhead consistently, and some varieties push well into October. Mass it in groups of 5 or more, where that warm color range can read at full strength from a distance. Number 20 is Cologne, the turtlehead. The hooded pink flowers genuinely resemble a turtle's open mouth in a way that is immediately obvious the moment you see the plant in bloom. Rich pink to deep rose, blooming from August through October, which makes Cologne one of the latest blooming native perennials available to American gardeners anywhere in the country. Hardy in zones 3 through 8. Planted anywhere consistently moist, rain gardens, low spots along a fence line, the edge of a stream or pond, part shade borders where the soil stays damp and late-season color is the hardest thing to find. If your yard has a low wet area where other plants drown, Cologne will treat that exact problem spot like paradise. Number 21 is Amsonia, Blue Star. This Native American perennial gives you 2 completely separate spectacular performances in a single growing season. In late April and May, star-shaped powder blue flowers open above clean willowy foliage. Then in October, the entire plant turns a brilliant golden yellow that rivals the fall color of ornamental trees that cost 10 times as much. 2 shows for the price of 1 plant across zones 3 through 9. Cut it back by 1/3 in late June to keep it compact and encourage denser, more spectacular fall color. Left unpruned, it tends to flop through midsummer and the autumn display loses some of its impact. Subscribe to this channel right now if you have not already done it. You just learned about Crocosmia, Baptisia, Cologne, and Amsonia in the last few minutes. Plants that most gardeners spend years never discovering. This channel puts that kind of content out every single week. Subscribe and share this video with someone whose garden needs exactly what this list delivers. Number 22 is Verbena bonariensis. Tall, airy, violet-purple flower clusters that float above the garden on slender branching stems from July through hard frost. Hardy in zones 7 through 11 as a true perennial, and in zones 4 through 6 it reseeds so prolifically and so reliably that it functions like a perennial in practice. The visual effect is unlike anything else in a late summer garden. Plant it in front of tall ornamental grasses or behind lower border plants, and let those airy stems weave through everything around them. Monarch butterflies specifically stop at Verbena bonariensis during the fall migration in numbers that can be genuinely astonishing to watch. Number 23 is Phlox paniculata garden phlox. When modern mildew-resistant varieties are chosen, this is one of the longest and most dramatic blooming perennials in American gardening. David is the gold standard for white, Gianna for lavender pink, and both carry exceptional disease resistance, along with bloom windows that run from July through September in zones 4 through 8. The fragrance at peak bloom on a warm August evening carries 30 feet. Native bees, swallowtail butterflies, and hummingbirds all work garden phlox heavily through its entire bloom period. Number 24 is Veronicastrum Culver's root. Walk through any serious botanical garden from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic in July and you will find it tall and architectural and absolutely commanding at the back of a border. White or soft lavender candelabra-style flower spikes rising 4 to 6 feet, straight up with a structural presence that nothing else in the summer garden replicates. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, blooming from July through September, documented as a nectar source for over 100 species of native bees and butterflies across U.S. ecosystems. Pair it with echinacea in front and ornamental grasses alongside, and the combination looks like something a professional designer charged thousands of dollars to put together. Number 25 is Sedum Autumn Joy, now classified as Hylotulipium. Thick fleshy foliage that stays attractive from spring onward, flower heads that open pale pink in August, and deepen to rich copper rose through September and October, and then turn a warm russet brown that holds structural interest through the winter. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, with drought tolerance, that makes it one of the most useful perennials for difficult dry conditions. Butterflies, particularly monarchs and swallowtails, cover the flower heads from August through October in numbers that make this plant a genuine late-season pollinator hub. Leave the dried flower heads standing through winter. Native bees that overwinter in hollow stems use them as nesting habitat, and birds pick through them for seeds on cold January mornings. That is all 25. From catmint to sedum, 25 perennials that do not quit on you in July, do not leave your border looking bare and spent through August and September, and do not require you to keep writing checks at the nursery every spring just to maintain some color. These plants come back. They bloom long. They feed the bees, the butterflies, and the hummingbirds that make a garden feel genuinely alive rather than just decorated. Every single one of them is available to American gardeners right now through local nurseries or reputable mail-order sources that ship directly to your zone. The difference between a garden that looks spectacular from Memorial Day through the first frost and one that peaks in June and disappears is not luck, and it is not a bigger budget. It is knowing which plants actually perform across the full season. Now you know exactly which 25 to reach for. Subscribe to this channel right now. Not because this channel is asking you to, but because what just happened in this video happens here every single week. Zone-specific, experience-backed, no filler information that saves you real money, real time, and real frustration in the garden. The gardeners who find this channel and subscribe are the ones whose yards start genuinely transforming season after season. Hit subscribe, share this video with one gardener who needs it, and drop a comment below telling this channel which plant on this list you are most certain belongs in your yard this season. That answer is worth more to the gardeners watching in your zone than any nursery tag or catalog description ever will be.